This is Mike Dodd. Welcome to the CBVA Hall of Fame. I started playing beach volleyball when I was probably about 12. We had a little court in our backyard, and we ran a string across the two poles and started playing, and then I started going down to the beach during the summers and seeing people play and tried to get on the court, and that's really how I started. I think my biggest inspiration was probably a name that's not as familiar as, say, a Von Hagen or a Selznick, although I loved watching those guys as a kid. But for me, it was a guy named John Gonzalez. He played with Mitch Maltby. They were kind of, Manhattan Open, second place, third place finishers, really good defenders. But John, when I was really young, was the first really kind of honcho at Marine Street that let me play with him, and I'd play, we play almost mixed, I'd play on the line and I'd set him, and so he was by far, not only the nicest guy to me, but really inspired me and kind of maybe helped mold me to try to be that same way with other, guys or young players that would want to play once I got to kind of that level. I really don't remember when or where I got my first rating. The first recollection I have was when I got my AAA, which was in a AA in Hermosa before my senior year in high school. Oh, when I got onto the tour, by far the toughest opponent was St. John and Karch. They were playing together. And it was right before St. John started playing with Randy, and then consequently Karch was so busy with the national team that St. John and Randy were really the tough teams. But pretty much St. John with anyone at the time when I first started kind of making my headroads, he was the guy to knock off. He was the big honcho. What win do I consider my biggest is a really tough question. I think, oddly enough, it might have been the qualifier for the Olympic trials in Baltimore. We had lost our very first match and worked our way all the way back through the losers bracket and played the team that actually beat us in the first round, Ricky Ludis and Brent Frohoff, to go and get that fourth spot in the trials. And it was the end of the day after a really long kind of emotional day, so much was at stake. And I'll never forget it. We were up like 14-12, and Fro did a little back two on a perfect pass, and somehow I got it up and put it away. And as far as how everything turned out, that was certainly a really big win. My favorite partner by far was Tim Hovland. I just think he was, kind of the best person I could have ever gotten with as a partner at the time when I really started playing a lot of beach volleyball. He had so much fire. He kind of took me under his wing a little bit, even though I'm a little older than he is. He certainly had been achieving a lot more in volleyball and been around a lot more. And, he really taught me how to fight, taught me to never give up. We became really good friends, and we just had such a good time together competing and winning. And when we would win, it was just, I can't describe it. It was so much fun. It was just kind of a given. Like if Hovland and Dodd win one of these Cuervos, that Cuervo party is going to be, epic, because that was kind of our moniker. We trained hard and we played really hard, but when it was over, we had more fun than anyone ever had on this tour. I think. And so Tim was great. Of course, I had a good time with Whitty as well, but absolutely Tim was my number one partner. My absolute favorite venue to play at was Manhattan. Just being from Manhattan, playing in front of your hometown, it was the best. But with that said, There were probably 4 or 5 really close seconds. Hermosa was basically just like playing in Manhattan. It was just as good, the aura was just as great, especially as the tour began to develop. Hermosa was almost even better because there was more space to, kind of house our venue. Chicago was an unbelievable site to play in. And then finally, Rio de Janeiro. We played in those early tournaments on Ipanema Beach. And, playing in front of 10,000 people that were spitting on you and screaming at you, but then just absolutely loving you once the match was over, and just hanging on the beach with those people. Those tournaments in Brazil were really, really fun. Oh, I don't think so. I think the record speaks for itself, and I just couldn't have had a better time playing. I almost made the Clippers in basketball coming out of college, and people say, well, do you regret it? Not for a second. I was so lucky to, finish my basketball, get into beach volleyball, and be a part of the growth of this sport. I was really lucky.